Bismillah. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Salatu salam ala Rasulillah. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. We left last class yesterday morning. Hadith 436. The author, he said, وقال سليمان بن موسى نبأنا وقاص بن ربيعة عن المستورد بن شداد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أكل بمسلم أكلة أطعمه الله بها أكلة من نار يوم القيامة ومن أقام بمسلم مقام سمعة أقامه الله يوم القيامة مقام رياء وسمعة ومن اكتسى بمسلم ثوبا كساه الله ثوبا من نار يوم القيامة صحه الحاكم. He says that Sulaiman ibn Musa reported from Waqas ibn Rabi'ah from the companion Al-Mustawrad ibn Shaddad, who said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man akala bi muslimin aklatan." Anyone who receives a meal, who eats a meal, bi muslimin, because of a Muslim, meaning anyone who enjoys some food, some worldly sustenance, because of his slander of another Muslim, because of his attack of another Muslim, because of his disrespect or disparaging of another Muslim, Allah Azza wa Jalla will give him food, will feed him fire on the Day of Judgment. Would he feed him fire on the Day of Judgment? And then says, وَمَنْ أَقَامَ بِمُسْلِمٍ مَقَامَ سُمْعَةٍ, and anyone who wishes to get fame and reputation through speaking down on another Muslim, and speaking ill of another Muslim, and disparaging and belittling another Muslim, then Allah will resurrect him and raise him maqama sum'ah. He will allow him to have fame and reputation on the Day of Judgment as well, meaning he'll be exposed. He'll have sum'ah. Everyone will hear about him and know about him on the Day of Resurrection. Last but not least, the hadith says, وَمَنْ اكْتَسَى بِمُسْلِمٍ ثَوْبًا كَسَاهُ اللَّهُ ثَوْبًا مِنْ نَارٍ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And anyone who puts on a garment, who puts on clothes, who receives dress in this life, because of what he did to another Muslim, Allah will give him a dress of fire on the Day of Judgment. And this hadith is declared authentic by Imam Al-Hakim. So this hadith shows us that anything that you do to another Muslim is haram, is impermissible. Whether you verbally attack a Muslim, speak ill of that Muslim, whatever the case may be, and that then therefore brings you some worldly joy, or some worldly sustenance, some worldly position, some worldly possessions, then you will receive the likes of that thing, similar thing, in hereafter, but in fire. So let's stop and let's apply this nowadays. How many people you get raised at a job by backbiting another Muslim? I got a house by betraying another Muslim. I became famous on YouTube by refuting another Muslim. And that refutation was unjust. It was wrong. It was a lie. It was inaccurate. It was unfair. Everybody understand this? So the concept of selling your soul at the expense of you sell your soul with regards to doing harm to another Muslim to get some worldly possessions, you'll enjoy it, inshallah. It'll be nice, it'll be fun, but on the Day of Judgment you'll get what? Fire. So let us think about this, huh? Not to trade on your Muslim brother. This hadith is applicable through so many different avenues. We talk about politics, countries that gain success, countries that gain wealth, countries that gain independence, countries that gain all types of worldly things by doing harm to another Muslim country. Everybody understand this? By backstabbing and trading on another Muslim country. This is a reality. Some people, they may say, well, we have to do this to this country and that country because we're under pressure ourselves. We are under pressure by the kuffar. The kuffar are pressuring us to do something to this country. So who deserves to live comfortably? You or your neighbors? Or this continent or this country, that country? Whose blood is more sacred? Whose women, folk, and children are more sacred? Yours or theirs? What type of mindset is that? Where you risk someone else's well-being just to save your own well-being under the pressure of the kuffar. That's sad. And common sense would tell you, if it's one kafir, two Muslim countries, let the two Muslim countries come together and stand in front of the bully American or any other country that's pressuring someone to do something to another Muslim country. And two is better than one, and we're no longer alone. However, greed, cowardice, love of the dunya, fear of death, love the kuffar, worshipping the kuffar in their ways, in their appearances and everything, causes us to be blind. And we lose scope of this. Everybody understand this? And this is why the ulama of Islam, they differ on the issue of qisas, when it comes to retribution and life for life. When it comes to the hudud, the criminal law in Islam, if you kill someone because you're threatened to be killed, so you're coerced to kill someone, is the hudud placed on you or not? Somebody walks up to you with a gun and says, if you don't kill him, I want to kill you. And then you kill him. The ulama of Islam, they differ on whether you should be executed. Obviously, the basic rule is that whenever you're coerced to do something, you're not held responsible for it. You're not held responsible when you're coerced, when you're forced. However, what gives you the right to take his life instead of you losing your life? Everybody understand the principle? To kill him because of fear of you what? You being killed. Meaning, my blood is more important and sacred than his blood. His mother and wife and children crying and being berated is better than what? Mine. So I can't tolerate my wife hearing the news that her husband was shot, but I can sleep and go and eat and drink knowing that your wife is going to be crying tonight that her husband was shot. Everybody understand this concept of you looking down upon your Muslim brother? And only Allah knows what will happen. Only Allah knows what will take place if you stand up to the oppressor. Don't ever forget Allah is in control. Allah may disable that oppressor. The gun may drop out of his hand. Or you may die as a martyr. And what's better, you staying alive as a coward or dying as a martyr? Everybody understand this? And we all know what the wise men, Muslim and non-Muslim, said about the past. It says death is nothing. Death is simple. Death is small. That's quick. Life is fragile. But to live without honor, to live with shame and disgrace, says that's the true death. And that's what I said, a coward dies what? 1,000 times. And a hero only dies what? Only dies once. So this hadith shows us with regards to the political sphere, whether it's the things that happen today in the news or not. Alright, in the past as well. It's nothing that's new. The Muslim countries have been fighting and at strife for years. And oftentimes, as we said, the countries, they gain material things, worldly things, through betraying other Muslim countries, unfortunately. Everyone begging for crumbs at the table of the kuffar. Give me a piece, a fatty bone. Give me a couple of crumbs off of the plate. This is a reality. This is a reality. Also, when we talk about the dawah field, how many people know something's wrong? They know that Fulan didn't say this. We know he didn't make this statement. We know he's not with this person, this evil boogie monster sheikh that's going to destroy the whole entire world. We know that. But there's dunya involved. Like the Muslims who say, we know that the truth is with you. We know that the truth is not with Sheikh Fulan, but who's going to pay? How's the sadaqah box going to get full? I know a person who said this statement. We know that the sheikh is wrong. We know this, that it's not true, what he's saying. But how's the sadaqah box going to get full at the masjid? So all that money that you get by throwing another Muslim under the camel or under the bus applies to this hadith. You'll have fire on the day of judgment because you're eating something at the expense of another Muslim. Everybody understand this? The clothes that you wear, the clothes that you buy for your wife and your children is at the expense of another Muslim suffering. Everybody understand this? You attacking someone's honor and speaking about another Muslim and what you know is wrong. In other words, the person who provides the dunya hates or is an enemy of the one that you're going to speak about. That's the deal. Everybody understand this? The one who feeds you says, I want you to talk about Sheikh Khan. I don't like him. I hate him. I despise him. He disgusts me. So I want you to talk about him. And you talk about him and then he does what? Here's the food. Here's the meal. Here's the clothes. Here's the masjid. Here's the dawah position or control or the money. Here's my beautiful virgin daughter. You can marry her. You're the imam of the masjid. You're the imam of the markaz. You run everything. You've declared Fulan to be a mubtadi'. He's an innovator. He's a deviant. Now you have the reins. You're on the minbar. This is a reality as we speak every single day. People, they sell their souls for a few measly crumbs. As Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, that the Jews, they sold themselves, they made things up against Allah for what? Thaman qalil, for a few crumbs, a measly trifle. They sold their souls. Moving on to the next hadith. The author says, وَصَحَّ مِنْ حَدِيثِ أَبِي خِرَاشٍ السُّلَمِي أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من هجر أخاه سنة فوق سفك دمه. Al-Hakim also collects and authenticates the narration of Abi Khirash as-Sulami, that he heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, whoever boycotts his brother for a year is like spilling his blood. To boycott your brother for an entire year is to put a knife in him and to spill his blood. The concept of boycotting a Muslim, which is also something that has become very, very easy, very simple, and very convenient, very cheap in 2017. Muslims rush to boycott their brothers for one reason or another. Whether it's bid'ah, he's a person of bid'ah, he's a mubtadi', he's a hizbi, he's a deviant, so I boycotted him. I advised him and he didn't listen to me, so I've boycotted him. And they have no hesitation in boycotting a Muslim. Someone that was once their friend, someone that was once their teacher. He used to sit down and teach them the basics of Islam, the basics of being a student of knowledge. Then you get in this clique, in this group, in this posse, and then it goes back to the previous hadith, Allahu Akbar. You can't be my student unless you talk about Mahdi. You can't learn from me unless you denounce everything that you've learned from him. You cannot be cool with me, friends with me, unless you hate him. But what am I going to say about Mahdi? He's a good guy. He taught me everything I know. So what? Say it. Pick and you choose. Once again, they sell their souls for popularity and for what? Acceptance. They sell their souls for popularity and for acceptance. And they're allowed to be bullied and to be punked into the corner for something that they actually do not believe. And that's unfortunate. So therefore, they boycott their brother in Islam. But the kuffar, as we just said, they have no problem. Hello, how you doing? My Kafir grandmother, she's a Christian. My Hindu father, I speak to him, I smile in his face. That's normal. My friends on Facebook, on Twitter, are kuffar, or not in kuffar, just sinful Muslims, fusaq, that are friends. You speak to them, you talk with them, but this person who's this evil, two-horned mubtadi', I will not say a word to him. But that's not real, that's fake. Because you sit, you poly, you laugh, and you joke with all people that go against Allah and His Messenger. Muslim or non-Muslim. Everybody understand this? Or back to the political aspect as well. These countries, unfortunately, they will boycott a Muslim country like this. They will wage war against them like that. They will raise armies, jets, bombs, and tanks in a snap of a finger to fight another country that prays and makes a salah. But a Kafir country, a Jewish country, a Christian country, a Hindu country that is torturing the Muslims, killing the Muslims in the East or the West. We're not talking about one country. It's not just the Middle East. In the Far East, beating Muslims with sticks and poles. As we speak today in the Far East. They won't say anything about those kuffar. They won't give them sanctions, political sanctions, economic sanctions. They will not make a march against them. But the Muslim country, we will ban them right now, instantly. That's sad. So if you boycott your brother for a year, meaning unjustly, then it is like spilling his blood. And who wants to spill the blood of a what? Of a Muslim. Alright? The concept of hajar, boycotting someone, without a doubt, is from the deen. There's no doubt about that. In the Quran, and in the Sunnah, and the ijma' of the people of knowledge. To boycott a Muslim for a right reason, a just reason, whether that person is an open, wicked sinner that refuses to take the advice, whether the person is someone who's harmful, a harmful criminal, whether they are an actual sahib al-bid'ah, calling people to innovation, and the truth is clear and plain and lucid, and they are obstinately inviting people to misguidance, then that's one thing. With the proper conditions, with the proper application, by proper people. As far as the boycott that is done by the hasty youth, and alhamdulillah, we used to do this, and alhamdulillah, Allah saved us from this. And Allah opened up our eyes. Walillahi alhamd. All praises for Allah for this. It was a point in time when we were in this too as well. And then Allah allowed us to see the ugliness of this practice. The immature, he's with this person, oh, he said this, he doesn't come and visit us, he said this about us, you boycott him, you cut him off. So you go, Assalamu alaikum, and you walk right by him. And you make a harsh, ugly face. When you see him on the train, you walk by, A'udhu billah. But you walk by the naked kafir lady, you walk by the guy drinking alcohol, this person smoking weed, you're just normal, happy, it's not a problem living in New York City. You're being on a train surrounded by, all of them are mushrikun. You don't have a harsh face. You see a Muslim who you know, who used to be your friend, who used to be a teacher, who used to be your student, who's practicing the sunnah, who's teaching people, you make a mean face. Obviously, that's a joke. Okay, Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, he wasn't friends with the people of innovations, nor was he friends with the people of sin. Imam Ahmad was not friends with the kuffar and the mushrikeen. Imam Ahmad was not friends with the people who abused their wives. Imam Ahmad took a stern position against anyone that was against Allah and His Messenger. Everybody understand this? So this is an immature joke, a game. Whether you find someone in their own circle who is a fasiq, who's a mujrim, a criminal, a zalim, an oppressor, someone who makes all types of crazy statements, doesn't recant them, they won't say anything about them. But it's only someone who's against them or outside of the circles. That's a joke. That's a joke. And the same applies. It's not just Islamic stuff and Dawah stuff, politics as well. The kuffar, they're our friends. And they'll publicize, they're our allies. We're allies. We're friends. We sit, we laugh, we joke. We'll give them a gift. But a Muslim country, no. We have to fight them. We have to stand up. We have to do what's right. That's a joke. That's a game that many of us play on a daily basis. And this is one of the reasons why we're in the situation that we're in. Because we take Islam as a joke. We take what's convenient for us to take, and we abandon that which is inconvenient for us to take. وَلِيَذُ بِاللَّهِ. Moving forward. The next narration author, he says, وعن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال من حالت شفاعته دون حد من حدود الله فقد ضاد الله في أمره إسناده جيد. Ibn Umar رضي الله عنه narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who intercedes for someone when it comes to the criminal punishment, the law that someone breaks in the Sharia state, and they intercede for them, they put in a good word or a bad word, and it stops them from applying the had of Allah, then they have went against Allah's command. فَقَدْ ضَادَ اللَّهَ فِي أَمْرِهِ. They've opposed and contradicted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that which He ordered to be done. The author says the isnad of this hadith is good. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الرجل لا يتكلم بالكلمة من سخط الله لا يلقي لها بالا يهوي بها في نار جهنم أخرجه البخاري. The previous hadith of Ibn Umar shows us that it's a major problem for a person to speak up and to talk about an issue which Allah and His Messenger have already decided upon. This person committed murder, this person committed rape, this person is drinking alcohol, any law, any of the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it has reached the Islamic authorities, is no, that's my son, or that's the imam of the masjid, or that's my cousin, he's knowledgeable, he's virtuous, he's this, he's high-born, he has noble blood. La. His punishment is something Allah and His Messenger have what? Already decreed. And this is one of the ways that the Jews and the previous nations were destroyed. When there was a noble who did something, they would hide it and leave it alone. A peasant who did it, they would put the punishment down on the peasant. Moving forward, وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet says, hadith 439, he says that indeed a man may make a statement which displeases Allah. He has no care about it. It's not a big deal to him. And it will cause him to float into the fire of hell. To plummet and to drop into the fire of hell. And this hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. And this shows us the danger of the tongue. The danger of excessive joking, excessive laughing, the danger of excessive anger, the danger of backbiting, of gossiping, the danger of giving a fatwa, or talking about someone and speaking about something that you have no knowledge of. And you have no right and no position to talk about. It's dangerous. And a person, as the hadith says, لا يلقي لها بالا. What's the big deal? As many people say, oh, I can answer that question. No big deal. Oh yeah, it's very simple. It's a very easy issue. You don't have to go. Nah, I got it. Okay? Or talking about someone's honor once again. They'll say, oh, Fulan he's well known. He has no background. There's no ghibah for this one, huh? His affair is what? His affair is well known. It's established. This one and that one. لا يلقي لها بالا. The person doesn't care. He doesn't get it as a big deal. Or gossiping and talking about something that you don't see to be a big deal, and it will cause you to fall down to the fire of hell. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الرجل يتكلم بالكلمة من رضوان الله ما يظن أن تبلغ ما بلغت يكتب الله له بها رضوانه إلى يوم القيامة وإن الرجل يتكلم بالكلمة من سخط الله ما كان يظن أن تبلغ ما بلغت يكتب الله له بها سخطه إلى يوم يلقاه. Sahih Tirmidhi. Next narration 440. A man may make a statement that pleases Allah, min ridwanillah, from the ridwan of Allah, and he doesn't think that it's going to reach the status that it can reach. He doesn't know, he doesn't have an idea of the potential of this statement of saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, making the adhan, giving the khutbah, saying Assalamu alaikum to a Muslim, speaking out against evil, teaching a class, answering a brother's question. You don't know. One statement, one word, one sentence, you don't know the potential that it has. It says here, until the point that Allah Azza wa Jalla will write this statement down for him. His ridwan, It will be a means of ordaining his ridwan. The statement will be a means of the ridwan being decreed for the slave until the day of judgment. And a man may also make a statement that angers Allah, displeases Allah, and he doesn't think that it has this potential. He doesn't think it's this detrimental, it's this harmful. He says, and Allah Azza wa Jal will decree and ordain upon him his sakhat, his wrath and his anger until the day in which he meets him. And this hadith is collected by Imam At-Tirmidhi. In the next narration, 441, the author says, وعن بريدة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقولوا للمنافق يا سيد فإنه إن يكو سيدا فقد أسخطتم ربكم عز وجل. صحيح. رواه أبو داود. 441, Burayda radiallahu anhu narrates that the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, do not call a munafiq ya sayyid. Listen to this hadith. Do not call the munafiq sayyid. Sayyid meaning a leader or chief or your honor or Mr. President or whatever name or title that this person has. Do not call him this name of authority and leadership and honor. Do not give him a name of esteem. The hadith says, فَإِنَّهُ إِنْ يَكُ سَيِّدًا, because if he is a sayyid, if he is a leader, then you have angered your Lord, the mighty and the majestic. And this hadith is collected by Imam Abu Dawood, and Al-Dhahabi says that it is authentic. In other words, one may say, why is this munafiq what? In charge. Why is he a leader? And you're addressing him, you're putting him in leadership. What's important is not to call a wicked, evil person what? An honorary title. We're not even going to get into that today, in the world today, whether it's the courthouse or wherever you go. Police officer, if the police officer is a munafiq, not saying every police officer is a munafiq, anybody that's a munafiq. Everybody understand this? That's the point that we're trying to get to. Okay? And giving them the honorary or honorific what? Title. Moving forward. It then says, وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم آية المنافق ثلاث إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا تمن خان. متفق عليه. Hadith 442, the Prophet ﷺ says the signs of the munafiq are three. When he speaks, he lies. When he promises, he breaks it. And when he's entrusted, he's treacherous. And this hadith is agreed upon. We've explained this hadith before in many places with regards to the proper understanding and meaning of this hadith. A Muslim who lies doesn't mean that he's a munafiq. A Muslim who breaks his promise, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to bring you a basket of bread, and he doesn't bring you the bread, I'm going to call you, I'm going to katha, doesn't mean he's a munafiq. If he's given a trust and he's treacherous, my humble opinion, that may be the worst of the three. The worst of the three, to be treacherous. A Muslim may lie. Unfortunately, he's embarrassed. He's afraid, scared, something like that. All right? You may make a promise. You may not have the ability to fulfill a promise. Once again, you may be too shy to say no. I'm not saying that it's permissible and it's okay. But when you have an amana and you break that amana, you stab someone in the back, there's no excuse for that. That's what? That's just no excuse. You have an amana, you tell somebody's secret. Someone says, please don't tell no one else, and you tell somebody else. And then 50 other people know. Or money, or one's wife, or the list goes on, my children. I'm trusting you with my children. I have to go somewhere, it's an emergency, I'm trusting you with my children. And you do something to my children. There's no excuse for that. So the ulama of Islam, they say, they have different views of this hadith with regards to, is it major nifaq, nifaq akbar, yani nifaq al-i'tiqad, nifaq of creed, in which a person in that reality is not a Muslim. They are Muslims, but they only say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah openly and publicly to protect their honor and their wealth and their well-being among the Muslims. Or is this hadith saying that the signs of nifaq al-amal, hypocrisy of deed, hypocrisy of one's actions, one's deeds, these are the signs that there is weak iman? Or does it mean that a person has imitated the munafiqeen? There's different ta'wilat of the ulama of hadith with regards to this. Khairan, inshallah, the author, he says, and this will be the last thing that we mentioned today, says here, فَأَمَّا الْكَذِبُ وَالْخِيَانَةُ فَقَدْ مَرَّ وَمَّا خَلْفُ الْوَعْدِ فَهُوَ الْمَقْصُودُ بِالذِّكْرِ هُنَا. He says, as for lying, and as for treachery, then they've previously mentioned that in the book. We previously what? Mentioned that in the book. He says, well, as far as breaking one's promise, then that's what we mean right here. That's what we mean right here. He says, وَقَدْ قَالَ تَعَالَى, Allah the Exalted definitely tells us, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ عَهَدَ اللَّهِ لَنْ آتَانَ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ لَنَصَدَّقًا وَلَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah says, and from them, from the munafiqeen, from them, He says, are those who made a promise with Allah. If you give us out of your bounty, we will surely give charity. We will spend if you give us. And we will be from the righteous. فَلَمَّا آتَاهُم مِّن فَضْلِهِ بَخِلُوا بِهِ وَتَوَلَّوْا وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. Allah says, and when He gave them out of His bounty, He gave them the wealth, they became stingy. Everybody understand? They became stingy and they turned away. They fled. They cowered. فَعَقَبَهُمْ نِفَاقًا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ يَلْقَوْنَ بِمَا أَخْلَفُ اللَّهَ وَمَا وَعَدُوهُ وَبِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. So Allah gave them a punishment which was hypocrisy in their hearts. Hypocrisy in their hearts until the day in which they meet Allah, because of the promise that they broke with Allah, and because of the lies that they used to make. And because of the lies that they used to make, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us from this. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu sallam barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina Muhammad.